Who's actually going to get the most out of a Wi-Fi enabled pellet grill, and who would be better off walking away? If you're a weekend backyard chef who wants to throw a few ribs on a lazy Saturday and set the temperature from your phone, the PitBoss 1600 Navigator might feel like a dream. If you're a casual griller who only flips a burger once a month, you might end up paying for features you'll never use. And the big question for most of us, does the price make sense for everyday cooking, or are you better off with a cheaper, simpler model? Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. I spent a solid afternoon unpacking the unit, watching a few setup videos, and scrolling through the first 100 Amazon reviews just to see where the real pain points lie. What struck me was the mix of excitement about the tech Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, a touchscreen controller and a steady undercurrent of people worried about the learning curve and the size of the hopper. That tug of two worlds, high-tech convenience versus down-to-earth grilling, shaped how I approached this review. First off, let's talk about the space you're getting. The 1593 square inch cooking area is big enough to fit a whole turkey, a couple of chicken pans, and still have room for a side of veggies. If you regularly host family gatherings or love the idea of doing a smoky and circumbelow and slow smoke at 180F, then crank up to a sear at 500F. The size actually shines. I tried a classic brisket run, setting the grill to 225F and letting the Wi-Fi app keep an eye on it while I prepped a salad. The temperature held steady, and the meat probe gave me a live read that matched a handheld probe I pulled out of the smoker. For anyone who wants that hands-off approach, the app really does the heavy lifting. Now, if you're thinking about daily use, the hopper capacity matters. A 30-pound wood pellet hopper means you can go a full weekend without refilling, which is a big win for long-cook projects like pork shoulder or low and slow ribs. However, the hopper sits at the back of the unit and can be a bit unwieldy to refill if you're working in a cramped patio. I found that when the pellets are fresh, they flow nicely, but if the bag sits for a few weeks, the bottom can clump and require a quick shake before loading. It's not a deal breaker, but it's something to keep in mind if you're not planning to use the grill often. The even heat claim is more than marketing jargon. The PitBoss uses a dual fan system that circulates smoke and heat across the whole cooking surface. In my test, I placed a sheet pan of sliced potatoes on one side and a rack of ribs on the other. After an hour at 300F, the potatoes were uniformly golden and the ribs were consistently pink in the middle. That kind of consistency is hard to achieve on a traditional charcoal grill without constantly rotating the food. The downside? The fans are audible when the grill is on low, and the constant hum can be a bit distracting if you're trying to have a quiet dinner conversation. It's not a loud industrial machine, but it's something you'll notice. One of the biggest selling points is the real hardwood flavor. Because you're burning actual wood pellets, the smoke profile is richer than what you get from electric smokers. I tried a mix of hickory and apple pellets for a chicken, and the flavor was unmistakably wood smoked, not just an artificial infusion. That said, the flavor intensity is proportional to the amount of smoke you let the grill produce. If you set a low temperature and forget to add a smoke boost through the app, the end result can be milder than you expected. For purists who want that deep, wood-kissed bark on a brisket, you'll need to be intentional about the smoke settings. Let's talk about the touchscreen controller. It's sleek, bright, and intuitive enough that you can set a temperature, timer, and even a hold function without digging through menus. The biggest advantage for me was being able to switch from a 225F smoke to a 450F sear with just a tap, all while the grill is still hot. However, the screen can be a bit finicky when you're outdoors and it rains where there's heavy dew. A quick swipe can cause ghost touches, and you might find yourself tapping the wrong option. The manual backup is there, but it does feel like the kind of tech that wants a dry environment. If you're a tech-savvy backyard chef, the Wi-Fi and Bluetooth connectivity open up some neat possibilities. The app tracks temperature, sends alerts if you drift out of range, and even lets you control the grill from inside the house. I used it once to start a low and slow pork roast while I was still finishing up a salad in the kitchen. By the time I walked out, the grill had already been at the target temperature for an hour, saving me the wait until the grill heats up.